Welcome to Northern Ireland, the land of a giant spirit. In this week's programme, I'll be travelling back in time at the Ulster Folk Museum, where I have an important appointment with Doc Martin. I'll be visiting the stunning Glenarm Castle and Gardens, which is today the home of Viscount and Viscountess Dunluce and their family. I'll enjoy a giant feast at Belfast St George's Market and discover some of the city's amazing street art with a Dead Centre tour, before finally finishing up with a poignant visit to the Seamus Heaney Home-Place in Bellaghy. And I'll be continuing to discover how the people of Northern Ireland have taken lots of small steps so that you can enjoy a giant adventure. Well, Victoria, I'm delighted to be here at the Ulster Folk Museum in Hollywood. So can you tell us a little bit about what people expect when they come here? I feel today like I've gone back in time. It's fabulous. It is, isn't it? You just really feel like you're transported back to the early 1900s. That's sort of the era that we're aiming for here. So visitors, what they can expect to see when they arrive, they first come into the town part of the Folk Museum, and here you can see a whole host of shops and trades being represented, as well as some houses as well, to get a feel of where people lived and how they earned their living. And then we also have the rural part of the museum, which is a lovely part as well. You get an idea of what rural life was like, very different to the atmosphere here you can see in the town. So Victoria, I'm going to go off now and I'm going to spend a few hours immersing myself in the early 1900s, and it really is going to be a great experience. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
I shouldn't be saying this, but what do they pay me with? Eggs, chickens, a cartload of turf. That's all very well and good, but do you know what I'm saying? It's not easy to buy the things I need for my dispensary. I couldn't take 20 dozen eggs down to the Belfast docks and try and barter for a shipload of...
Absolutely, Dr. Martin, eggs don't pay the rent.
They don't. No, it's pin money for the women, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Pin money for the women.
I heard that the people around here in Hollywood have a few bob, so they should be giving you, they should be paying you.
Well, you're right.
The good kid,
There's some well-heeled characters around here, indeed there are.
So, Dr. Martin, can I go into the dispensary?
Shall we take a walk in?
Yeah, I mean, how much do you charge for an examination?
For a consultation, it's half a crown.
I'm feeling a bit of a pain in my left shoulder there.
Oh, I can see a bill mounting up here now already. I could look at that. We'll get you up on the couch if you want.
Yeah, that could be for the head examination up on the couch.
Well, now you said it and I didn't. Come on and we'll take it down.
Brilliant, brilliant. I see you're open there, Dr. Martin, from 10 until 1. You're not killing yourself there with the hours.
Now here, I have my rounds to do. I resent it when people say that to me.
Of course, yes, you're out and about.
Now, Ed, I'm surprised, a man of your tender years, you're in pretty poor shape. I don't want to put the frighteners on you.
I was afraid you were going to say something like that, to be honest.
You're not looking after yourself, are you?
No, you know, I've been very, very busy recently, a bit of stress as well.
And there's never enough time for a bit of exercise or things like that?
Yeah, I think, I'm trying to get the steps up, but I need to get up more. Yeah.
Well, you know, this stiffness in the knee and the shoulder and that would be easy cured. I could mix something up for you here.
Oh, that'd be great. Some serious medicines here.
There's things that people should never get their hands on, because a lot of these are toxins.
Yeah.
And you know, unless you know what you're doing, they could do you more harm than good. It's a killer cure thing, do you understand me?
Yeah.
You want to kill the germs and the bad things, but not the patient.
Hopefully now, Dr. Martin, that would be a good result, yeah.
It would.
And I got that special insurance now for so you don't have to hold back with the medicines.
Are you one of these ones on these Prudential, these penny insurance things, are you?
Yeah, I have. My mother made me take it out, so I've kept it up, yeah.
That's good, that's good. So when I send the bill, there won't be any problems?
No, you can send the bill to the Pettigrews down in Hollywood. They're my relations.
Ah, they're nice people. Yes, I know.
Yes. They're good. They're
good for it. Did you notice, just a point of interest, people don't seem to realise the colour scheme in here is for a very particular purpose. You see the red floor and the red chair. Have you any idea what that might be?
Well, the red floor, I mean, would that be in case like there was any kind of operations or anything?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Aye, would you like to sit in the red chair for a minute, would you?
No, I'm fine. I thought it was something to do with Mao Zedong, but I think it's probably a different red you're talking about.
I've never heard of this Mao Zedong.
Yeah, no, I'm okay. I'm grandstanding.
All right, you do that then. You
I'm
do
sitting
that
all day.
All right, all right. So if you want to cut the pills for me, you do that. I'll just set it on here. If you want to pull it towards you, you should find 12 beautiful round pills drop out. Pull it down hard towards you. That's you. Well, wow. Not bad. Do you see that now? Do you see? That's not bad. Roll them into the wee tray.
I don't normally make my own pills, to be honest, Dr. Martin, but it's a nice little change. It makes a nice change.
Since you're sending me to the Pettigrews for the money and all that there, we'll tip this sweet tray.
Get a bit of a discount for making your own pills. I like that.
And that's you. Now listen, twice a day, and don't exceed the dose.
No, I won't. Well, listen, thanks a million. I'll start them straight away now. Start them straight away. Right, Dr. Martin,
take care of yourself.
Send on that bill now, and they'll definitely be sort that out for you. Okay.
Thanks for calling past.
I'm feeling better already.
Good man yourself. There's no hope.
Glenarm Castle is situated on the magnificent Antrim coast and has Ireland's oldest walled garden. I'm meeting Adrian Morrow to tell me about this magnificent place. Adrian, it's such a pleasure to meet you, and I must say it's my first time here in Glenarm Castle and Gardens, and you were telling me that this very deservedly is in the top 100 gardens in Ireland.
Despite our best efforts, we're still one of Ireland's best kept secrets here at Glenarm, so I'm not surprised you haven't been here before. So yes, the garden here is, the Viscount and Viscountess are very keen gardeners. So they're the drivers behind this wonderful 4-acre wall garden. You've picked up on all the lines and the edges, even in the hedges. Well, the Viscount is a wee bit OCD, so
hedges with edges.
Hedges with edges. Everything has to be perpendicular and line up and look amazing, smart at all times. This yew hedge is about 350 years old, would you believe? The family, it's the MacDonald family. They came from Islay in Scotland, probably about 500 odd years ago. They came into Ireland and they settled at Dunluce Castle, which is further north. That was their. One night during a dinner party, the kitchen dropped off into the sea, along with 7 staff and all their puddings. They didn't get any pudding that night, so
a drop in the ocean.
Yeah, literally. So as a result of that, then they were nervous living on the edge of a cliff. Glenarm was their hunting lodge at the time, so they would have came from Dunluce to Glenarm to hunt, but they retreated to Glenarm then on a full-time basis after the incident at Dunluce then. But of course, the original size of this estate was 350,000 acres. It went all the way from Larne right up to Donegal, up until 1904, I think it was. It had to be broken down then. So
they decided to downsize a bit.
Well, there was an Irish land act come through that they had to reduce to 2,000 acres.
Tell me, this is the castle we were chatting about earlier, Glenarm Castle, and it's in such good condition. It looks immaculate.
Yeah, they keep it very well. It's their family home. This is where they live. They've got 2 kids, so when we go inside, you'll see the kids' bicycles and things in there. So it's just their home. They look after it very well. You know, to maintain a house like this costs a lot of money. I mean, I remember if you look up at the turrets there. I built my house at home. It cost me £30,000 to build my house in 1990, I think it was. And a year later, we had to repair all 4 turrets, and it cost £30,000 a turret. So each time I look up there, I see 4 houses up there.
Fantastic.
For Glenarm is quite unique, and it's one of very few stately homes in Ireland that still function as they would have done 500 years ago. You know, they still run their own farm, they still have their own garden, their own house staff, and it's a fully functioning estate.
Yeah, brilliant. So Can we go inside and have a little look around?
We'll take you inside and give you a wee quick whiz around. We'll not show you too much. Wouldn't want to spoil it all for your visitors when they come. We better keep something for them.
Yeah,
so.
no, absolutely. I think we should make them work hard for it because they're going to love this. There's no better way to experience Belfast in the morning than a visit to St George's Market, which is one of Belfast's oldest attractions and one of the best markets in Europe.
Ed, welcome to St George's Market. This is where we start the tour that we're going on. This is the historical hub, though, of Belfast food. Nowhere has been dealing in food more than this place and for longer than this place.
Absolutely delighted to be here, Caroline. If there's anything I love, it's markets and food, right? And I'm starving, so I'm really looking forward to the tour. And I can smell everything already, like bacon and avocado and gorgeous things coming out there.
There's so much going on, and particularly at this time of year, the produce is perfect. The local produce is in. We've got the Cumber early potatoes. We've got those really fresh strawberries that smell of summer. And this is the place to start. And also we get a little bit of crack and banter with all the stall holders, which is perfect.
Amazing. And what's wonderful as well, I was looking there earlier, having a run around, this fabulous like artisan jewellery, this beautiful artists, paintings. I mean, you can just come here and buy sort of everything.
Well, the wonderful thing is you can come every day. So you can come Friday, Saturday and Sunday, and there's different stalls in those 3 days. So there's everything from food to craft to plants. And then of course there's the hot food, there's the produce you can take home with you as well. There's so much. On the Belfast food tour, we start here in the market and we go to the oldest coffee roasters in Ireland. We go and we have a little Belfast brew. We walk about the stalls. We enjoy some food as we go and we graze along the way. Then we head to the pub because that's what you have to do first thing in the morning. I'm joking. So we get to go and have a little Armagh cider. You get to have some beers, some champ. Head to Chocolatiers, one of the top in the world. And then we go on to a couple of more places, and I'm not giving those away because it's a surprise.
Oh, brilliant. Fantastic. Right, okay, let's go. I'm starving. Bit of white wine, a bit of garlic. No, that's more mussels, is it?
God, no.
Don't be ruining the winkles.
Winkles are straight up, aren't they?
Straight up. Brilliant. No messing. Oh, they're delicious.
Love it.
All locally grown, of course.
Oh, these are, that's when you know there, a lot of them come in from Belgium, but they're just not the same and they don't taste any, they just look like strawberries, but they don't taste like strawberries.
Like the tomatoes.
Exactly, and then when you go to the supermarkets, everything's chilled within an inch of our life and you can't smell the food, whereas this is, to me...
That's what's wonderful about the market here.
Cream, that's
that
all.
Everything is locally grown and
it
fresh.
Is. As much as it possibly can be.
The smell is amazing, the flavours.
It takes you right there. You just need that little bit of sunshine coming through.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's made, as you can see, fresh in the market every morning.
Bom dias.
You would call it 100 years ago where people would go out for their, what's the word they used to use for a soda, but it's not. There's a mineral.
Oh,
You'd go out for a mineral. Oh, I'm so glad I got that.
Excuse me, Caroline, we still use the word mineral down below. We're still... I'll have a mineral with that, please.
A mineral.
And a packet of pub crisps.
Exactly.
Disaster bus.
Disaster, yeah. They're loving chili around here at the minute. So when guests come up to join us on the tour, they're going to get a little selection of lovely, delicious things from Tom and Ollie's here beside us. So there's a lot of different things that they make themselves up in Ballycastle, and one of my favourites is the green olive tapenade, and then there is a hummus with chilli, basil and garlic. So they're getting to try that. They've got some local charcuterie, some marinated mozzarella, just delicious things that can be found in a very traditional market but very modern ingredients.
Yeah, beautiful with the olives, the hummus, the tapenades, gorgeous smells again and flavours.
Yeah, just need a little glass of wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had the most fabulous time, it's been brilliant. And I think what's great about the market here is, even when you're going around, the people are so friendly and they all chat to you and they tell you their stories. From the fishermen to the people who grow these amazing strawberries.
Fifth generation.
And it's all locally produced, of course, which is amazing, yeah.
I think you have to start the chat and I think you're very good at that.
Yeah, well listen, every now and then I throw in a few words, This is a bit cheesy here. But listen, thanks a million, because the taste tour is something really good, and I think it's like a sightseeing tour with lots of fun and food, and what could be a better combination than that?
That's exactly right.
Thanks a million.
Thank you for joining.
A short walk away, I meet my tour guide Paul from Dead Centre Tours, who is going to tell me the history of this beautiful city and its transformation from a once troubled past to a place today of art and inspiration.
Ed, welcome to Belfast. I know you've been here before, but I'm delighted that this time you're here with DC Tours. We are standing now in the grounds of Belfast City Hall, very opulent, we're very proud of it. What we're going to do this morning, Ed, is simply take a walk. It's not challenging physically, it's a mile and a half, and we're simply going to visit a number of sites where we examine incidents of violence that occurred between 1971 and 1975, when the conflict is formulating and at its most intense in terms of the levels of violence and disruption to everyday life. We'll also look at sites where you can positively see the regeneration of the city, one of the positive legacy developments, and we will thread in more generic things around architecture, the history of music in Belfast, because it was once a happening city until the balloon went up, as we say here.
Of course, your award-winning tour, I'm delighted to be on it today.
We're award-winning tour, and I actually last year, not one to boast, but I got the UK Tour Guide of the Year, but that's more of a reflection of DC Tours than it is of me.
Oh yeah, they always send me the good ones.
Glad to hear it.
I'm very lucky.
We're in Donegal Square North, just across from Belfast City Hall, and this is the Visit Belfast Welcome Centre. And just for anybody coming to the city, it's an extremely useful resource, lots of information. They do ticket sales, lots of information about virtually everything that's happening in Belfast, so certainly a very useful resource for the traveller to Belfast. City Centre has become a focal point for really new, very different art. This is a cracking example. This is the Son of Protagoras. It was painted about 10 years ago by a French artist, sort of street artist. I think he was called OTM. Protagoras was a real person. He was actually a sort of philosophy student in, I think, the 5th BC in Athens as a city-state, and he was of a particular philosophical school, and he actually left Athens and burnt his books and his learnings because he argued that religion was the source of all conflict. A city or a state could never be run with virtue, as he saw it, whilst you had religious factions warring it out. So this is called the Son of Protagoras, sort of taking from that tradition. And I always say that the art in Belfast, whether it's in the traditional working class communities of loyalism and republicanism or in the city centre, is really a barometer of change. Whether it's a specific political message or the very fact that we're having art like this in the city of Belfast is a huge shift. It simply did not happen before. It's still continuing that difficult conversation we had, but in a very different way to a balaclavaed figure with an Armalite or whatever national flag in the background. So there's a lot in this, as well as the immediate visual impact.
Yeah, it symbolises the changing situation, Paul.
Well, the word situation is greatly overplayed here, you know, so I'll not go on about the situation, but the situation is important. I have to say that, Ed, you're right.
Brilliant. I was really dying to hear that word.
I know, I had a funny feeling you were. I wasn't biting, but you forced me into it there. So this is the Jewel of Belfast. It was painted by a guy, Conor Harrington. So it's one that certainly generates a lot of discussion in terms of what it's about, but also the imagery. Again, like the Son of Protagoras, so incredibly different to our traditional art forms, which have dominated Belfast gable walls for 100 years.
Paul, that's been a fantastic tour today. I must say, really interesting. And again, I learned so many things that I didn't know about before. And everywhere you go now, you're hearing accents from all different parts of the world. And it's great to see that. It was great. Thanks a million.
Thank you very much. Well, it's very kind of you to say so. And you just talked there about the different accents and the voices in Belfast. It's an interesting situation where you have a Cork man speaking openly in the streets of Belfast on a Thursday morning.
Yeah.
That's a good sign, I think.
My journey draws to a close at the Seamus Heaney Home-Place in Bellaghy, a place where the poet drew his inspiration from the land of his childhood. There's no better way to end our programme than to get lost in the voice of a man that somebody once said is the very heart of this land.
We're delighted to have you here today to visit us. The Home-Place here in Bellaghy is a must for anyone who is a fan of Seamus's, has studied his poetry, or really just wants to find out a little bit more about him and his poetry. And I suppose Seamus's background, where he came from, and where so much of the inspiration for Seamus's work came from, which really was from here, from Bellaghy, where we are today. It tends to be a very emotional experience for a lot of our visitors. The exhibition itself is very much a self-guided exhibition, because when they're with us, they can listen to Seamus's poetry as they're wandering around. So we're lucky enough to have audio devices here which have recordings of Seamus reciting a lot of the poems himself. So we love to let our visitors wander around at their own pace and enjoy listening to Seamus at the same time. Quite an overwhelming experience with the amount there is to experience. So yes, that's why a lot of people return to us again and again over time, and it's great to see them coming back.
He spent, was it up to nearly 7 days in studio at one stage, recording nearly all of his works?
That's right, and to have that as part of the exhibition is just wonderful. To hear that lovely voice of his, which still retains the local accent as well, really does make the experience, it really is the icing on the cake. It's great to have so many people coming here to us, discovering more about Seamus, and actually it gives them an opportunity, I think, to reminisce about their own lives and their own childhoods. Seamus talks about the local area here, Bellaghy, in his poetry. He talks about his family and his memories of his childhood, and it really gives, I think, visitors an opportunity to reminisce and to catch up on some of those old memories of their own.
You've done a fabulous job here, and I think for anybody who is interested in Seamus, I think they're going to just have such an amazing experience when they come here. When all the others were away at Mass, I was all hers as we peeled potatoes. They broke the silence, let fall one by one, like solder weeping off the soldering iron. Cold comfort set between us, things to share, gleaming in a bucket of clean water, and again let fall. Little pleasant splashes from each other's work would bring us to our senses. So while the parish priest at her bedside went hammer and tongs at the prayers for the dying, and some were responding and some crying, I remembered her head bent towards my head, her breath in mine, our fluent dipping knives, never closer the whole rest of our lives. I've just had some unforgettable experiences here in Northern Ireland. From wide open spaces to cities full of buzz without the bustle. I've seen how the people here have taken small steps so that you can come and enjoy a giant adventure.